So let's talk about the coaching situation for the Gilas men's national basketball team. It's Chot Reyes, Nenad and Tab Baldwin. Here we go. So what is the difference when you're talking about coaching, and why has it been so important for the past couple of months when it comes to the Philippine men's national basketball team? It's very simple. Let's start off with the number one most obvious thing. It's their principles. Chot Reyes still believes in a dribble drive offense, and we're going to talk about that extensively in a bit, while Tab Baldwin and Nenad, they believe in the more European style type offense where the ball moves around a little bit more, looking for the best possible shot. Now, just based on what I said, I think you can very well tell which is the better offense. Definitely, when you're talking about combining all of your players and when you have so much talent out there on the floor, how can you maximize that? Here's where the point goes to Vucinic and Baldwin, because when you're talking about a motion system type offense or a Princeton style offense, getting the best shot on the floor, okay, you have that talent. Let's say, for example, if you're combining the best the Philippines has to offer. The problem is, how do you maximize that? Using a dribble drive offense does not at all, because it's basically isolation or a 2 or 3 man game. It's isolation on one side of the ball, usually the strong side of the ball, and you're just basically playing against a defensive wall. Whereas when you're doing a Princeton style offense, or where there's a lot more motion to be had, the ball is moving, the defense is moving, that's the most important thing. These are tall people, very tall people when you're talking about the FIBA world stage. An average height of probably about 6'5" to 7 foot tall. I'm talking about 6'5" being the point guard position and 7 feet tall being the center position, and everything else in between is like 6'7", 6'9", 6'10". That's a pretty big wall to go up against, and if these people aren't moving out of a certain area, how can you get to a certain area? This is where Tab Baldwin and Nenad Vucinic have sort of perfected their idea that the Philippines, because we're small, we're very tiny as a country and as a people. We're a very tiny group of people in the Southeast Asian region. We're very small, but also we're very athletic, we're very tenacious, I would say, and we're very fond of basketball, so be it, right? When it comes to that, the only thing we can really do is, again, move the defense, get them out of certain spots, and when they get out of those spots, those are the spots that we want. That's what the motion offense allows for us to do. In the dribble drive offense, again, it's just an ISO, it's basically a 2 or 3 man game on one side of the ball, and basically the other guys are just waiting for that guy to create and seeing if you can attract the defense and somehow suck them in. If they don't get sucked in, and it's basically the big man and the point guard or whatever happens there with the mismatch, that's the matchup that we think we want, but we kind of need to get out of our own way and get out of our own heads in thinking that the guy running that is LeBron James or Stephen Curry. It's not. We don't have that otherworldly talent, though we would like to think we do, but we don't. So let's face reality and be like the rest of the world and compete at a high level where we're playing smart basketball, we're playing good basketball, and we're playing the right kind of basketball that gets everybody involved. Now let's talk about accomplishments here, because basically you can't just have your weight in one side of the coin, where we're talking about what they believe in, principally speaking. Tab Baldwin is a very popular coach here in the country. He's had a lot of awards. If I can list them down here. Tab Baldwin and what he's accomplished over the years, along with Nenad Vucinic, who's also been pretty accomplished in his own right. Now, the reason why Chot Reyes, I believe the point might go to him here, is because over the years, what he's done with the Gilas men's program is that, he's kind of won. We've had so many highs and a few lows. I think that's how Chot Reyes has somehow managed this entire thing. A lot of highs and minimal lows. Think probably the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, you can get not too high and not too low probably with the Thunder, but with Gilas over the years, yeah, we won against Korea and Chot Reyes was a very integral part of that. Yeah, we were in that final a couple of years ago against China. Yeah, we sort of stand tall against the likes of Iran, and but again, we can't. The problem that I have, and again, I give the point to Chot Reyes because when you're talking about the resume overall, I guess he wins out because he's had a lot more. He's done a lot more for the country, more so than Tab Baldwin or Nenad Vucinic. Tab Baldwin, all he's done so far as I know, as far as research goes, is that Ateneo has just been a dominant force over the years, and there's a big reason why. It's Tab Baldwin. The system that he implements is one that none of these other teams seem to be able to know how to defend, nor do they know exactly what to do with it. And defensively, they've probably been the best team across the board, talking about Ateneo. Now, going back to Chot Reyes, and the problem that I always have is that we can't seem to level up we can't seem to get above Latin American and European and American teams, and North American teams. did we compete against the likes of Angola? And did we compete? That's all I want to know. Did we compete? The reason why people are also clamoring for Tab Baldwin and Nenad Vucinic back is because when we went up against Serbia, we almost beat them with a very makeshift lineup of a bunch of college guys, and that I think was the biggest promise that was a promise being shown with Tab Baldwin's system, that if we implement this and if we just have we have better players running it, then there's no reason why we can't win. But with Chot Reyes, it seems that we're stuck. We're stuck somewhere in between. We can probably win against China and Iran, and then we're gonna get our ass kicked by Puerto Rico, Serbia. We did get our ass kicked by Serbia by like 60 points, I think, in the last FIBA World Cup edition. Or any of these LatAm teams or European teams, Spain, for example, they're probably gonna beat the crap out of us too. This is where just having a system, just having something that we believe in to get open shots and easy shots, I think is important. But again, the point goes to Chot Reyes. You have to give him credit for what he's accomplished over the years with the Gilas men's national basketball team. So maybe this is a big reason why he's coming back to the sidelines coaching the team heading into the FIBA Asia Cup. Okay, last thing, let's talk about goals and progression. I'm going to give the point to Tab Baldwin and Nenad Vucinic. And the reason why there's two of them is because I don't really believe that Nenad Vucinic would be here without the idea that Tab Baldwin sort of supports him being there. That's just my theory. And then let's talk about Chot Reyes. Now, the problem that I have here was that Chot Reyes' mindset is that he wants to be too realistic, which is fair, practical, in the sense that the aim for the Gilas men's team right now is to be 8th or something. I think I'm going to try and pull up the article here. And Tab Baldwin, if you're Tab Baldwin, if you're talking about where he was in 2018, and he said that the goal for the Philippines men's national basketball team is to be the top 15 team in the world. That's a far cry. That is like that is just so bad. Right now we're ranked 34 in the world. I think we're being surpassed by a lot of different teams whom, if you check the FIBA World Rankings right now, there are a host of other teams that seem to be ahead of us. And this is a little bit frustrating when you're listening to what the goals of these two coaches have. One understands progression, one understands goal setting, and one understands leveling up. The other one just seems to be always in the moment where even he doesn't believe we can win. You know what I mean? He himself doesn't understand that with the talent that we have in the Southeast Asian space and even the Asian space, that we can't really win. Maybe he wants to set expectations where, okay, everybody, this is our team. Maybe we'll finish 8th. Maybe if we finish better, that'd be great. But it's kind of nonsense to think that. And if you don't have championship and high-level expectations of yourself and your team, that kind of sets you up to fail. That's not a good culture to have. When you walk into a locker room and your coach thinks that you're just worth 8th place, that is absolutely BS. I don't think I've ever had a coach in my entire life, or I've ever heard a coach in my entire basketball participation life say, hey guys, we're coming in here to win 8th. 8th out of how much? Like 12? What the hell is that? And then on the other side, you have a coach. Again, I hate the politics that are involved with this, because I believe, my theory, conspiracy-wise, is that I could be right, I could be wrong, that Tab Baldwin is not the head coach for just a bunch of scorned reasons, I believe. And then you have Tab Baldwin and Nenad Vucinic, who have high hopes, who have dreams, who believe in this team. That we can be 15th in the world, that we can actually beat the likes of China, given the right system, given the right conditioning level, given the right ideas for these boys to execute, for these guys. We're undersized. But so are the Golden State Warriors in the 2022 NBA Finals, and yet they won 4-2. So size isn't really a factor. What's a factor is the game plan, the skills that your players have, and as a coach like Steve Kerr, how can you maximize them? It's definitely not with a dribble drive offense. That's what I'm assuming. Maybe that's why Coach Chot Reyes, and this is kind of scary right now, because if he's thinking of still implementing the dribble drive offense in upcoming FIBA Asia Cup, we're kind of screwed in a million different ways, I believe. That's scary to think about. But let's again hope and pray. But again, when you're talking about the matchup between these two, I like Tab Baldwin and Nenad Vucinic over Chot Reyes, simply because I think that we need to level up. We need to get up there. We need to compete already with the rest of the world. We can't keep staying stuck and thinking that we're the giants of the Southeast Asian region. We've already lost that title. What's next for us? What are we going to lose next? Right? So as a country, as a basketball-loving nation at that, I think that we deserve some type of performance in the FIBA World Cup, or the FIBA Asia Cup, where we can be proud of it. We can go out there and say, hey, we're one of the best in Asia. Or at least we like to believe we were up there, and then all of a sudden we were not. Because again, with Chot Reyes, I keep saying it, he doesn't get too high and he doesn't get too low. The problem with not getting too high enough is because we'll never get anywhere past that ceiling that he projects for this team to have. Just get 8 points. What the fuck is that? But I digress. Alright, check out more of our videos. We're going to talk a lot more about Gilas Men's National as the FIBA Asia Cup goes along. And of course, we'd love for you to subscribe here to our channel, GT Sports. We're going to keep bringing you all the latest news. Alright, this is the Jaff for GT Sports. I'll see you soon.